All right, you guys, so we're gonna start our new activity today. We're gonna create something that looks like an ocean aquarium using 1-point perspective. So we've spent a couple of activities doing things that go to a vanishing point. And each time we do something, we wanna get a little bit more sophisticated, something that looks a little bit more recognizable. Last week we did create a landscape, but it was very abstract and we spent some time doing those boxes. So now today we want to actually create a scene, and this is going to be part one of this assignment. I'm going to break it up on purpose into a couple stages. So today I'm going to get you at least to this point that you see here on my paper. So in order to do this, this is how you are going to start. You need a blank sheet of paper, just like what you've been working with. You are going to need a ruler and you are going to need a pencil. And to do this one, I'm actually going to use a longer, actually maybe not. I was going to use a longer ruler, but I don't have one with me. So what I want to do is go diagonal from one corner of my paper all the way to the other corner. And actually I am going to get a longer ruler. If you don't have a long ruler, you're gonna have to scoot it. But I have one that is longer, so I'm gonna use my longer ruler just for the sake of this, to make it easy. So here we go. This is going from corner to corner because we want to get the center of our paper. And again, I'm gonna do my lines just a little bit darker than I normally would because, so you can see them. We're gonna do like a giant X. So corner to corner, the opposite direction as well. Okay, so corner to corner, and now I have the center of my paper. So from the very center there, I am going to create sections down below. I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sections. So in order to do that, I'm just gonna eyeball these. They don't have to be any set amount of distance, but I want to try to make them kind of balanced. So here's another one. I'm gonna do one more. Okay, so here we go. That's about right. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I have these sections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one ended up with 6. So if you have 7, that's fine. But what you don't want is just like 3. You don't want to get too few. You definitely want to get that tiled effect. We're trying to go for a checkerboard bottom like this. So definitely try between 6 and 7 sections. That would be great. Okay. Next step is to do lines going across. So I am going to put my first one about here, and I just go straight across. I'm going to drop it down, and just know that to create the illusion of distance, this distance is shorter than this one. They progressively get a little bit longer. So I'm going to put my second line about here. I'm going to drop it down, and I'm going to make this section bigger than this one. So I'm going to drop it down about here. This looks about right, I think. Straight across. And I'm going to do one more. This section is really big, but I think I'm going to just cut it down a little bit. And if you're not sure, you don't want to make it crooked, you can also raise your ruler so you can see that it's parallel to the bottom of your paper. And then that way you don't go crooked across. Okay, so now I have all my sections in. Technically I have this little section down here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that looks about right. If you don't like the way this looks here and you want something like this, it's fine to leave it long. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections. 4, 5. So you're gonna have to kind of play around with the distances. I made them just a little bit different. So anyway, something like this. The next step is to create the arches. So we need to put in these lines here going on the top. So between the bottom and here, we need to create those lines. So see how they're in between. These are straight, those are using a ruler. We're gonna do the same thing. And the only time you freehand right now is doing the arches. So let me go ahead and show you this. And how you do that is you need to come to each point right here. And this is where you go straight up and you just stop where it hits that line. I'm gonna turn my paper this way so you guys can see it a little bit better. So again, here is my line where they meet, and I just need to go straight up. Actually, I'm going to switch over to this ruler only because I can see through it and it helps me a little bit. Makes it a little bit easier to judge how straight I am. So there's line 1, and I go to the next one right here, go straight up. This is a perpendicular line here, and it's creating that 90-degree angle right at this little intersection here. So it's like a giant L, a giant L. Keep doing this. Let me scoot my paper down so you guys can see it a little bit better. Okay, and try to judge to make sure that they look like they're going straight across. If they are slanted, it's gonna make your aquarium look a little wobbly, and you don't want that. You want it to look stable. And then there's the last one right there, okay? So right now we've finished this side. Now we're gonna do the exact same thing to the other side. So I'm gonna turn my paper like this, and I am going to put my line straight across, just like I did on the other side, but I'm doing it to this side now. And this is kind of a slow process. It takes time to make your lines nice and neat, so just be patient with this. This is just step 1. Okay, so now I have put in both sides of my lines here. The last part is to create these arches. So this is what we want to put in next. That's the only part that you're going to have to freehand. So don't worry about them being perfect. It's okay. Here, this is a tiny little distance. So this is going to be like the easiest one because it's a little tiny curve like that. Okay. Same thing to the opposite. Once you do that one, go to the opposite side. Same thing again. Just a slight curve. Okay. Then you're going to do the same thing here. You want to extend it, and it's going to go off your paper, but you want it to curve because you want to show the illusion of it curving like an arch. And then same thing with it. It might be easier to turn it upside down and then just kind of go down with your lines. What you do to one side, you got to do to the other. So try to match these curves as much as you can. This one in the middle should be able to go in all the way. So this one I am going to try to go into my full arch. And if you want to like kind of do one side at a time to try to see if you can match them. That's fine. It doesn't have to be perfect. Mine certainly is not perfect, but it's close. And then the last one is on the inside, and you just kind of follow this arch here. So for this, so something like that. Once you have all of your pencil lines done, the next step is to use a black Sharpie if you have one, or some kind of a permanent black marker. Sharpies work the best. I love Sharpies. So the next step is to trace over all of these pencil lines, all of them. Use your ruler again. So when it's time to trace, you have nice crisp lines. Use your ruler for tracing, okay? You want to like run over all of those lines, just like you see here. And you want to start the checkerboard pattern. So, you know, just alternate, and then just like fill it in so it's a checkerboard when you're done. Sharpies are the best for getting like a nice solid black space. If you use a regular marker because that's all you have, that's fine. Just know that they don't turn out quite as nice. I recommend a Sharpie, but if you don't have it, use what you have. And this is part one. This is where you should be. When you are here, take a picture and send it to me. Show me what you've done so far. And in part two, the next video, I'm going to show you how we're going to fill in the top with marine animals and color application so it looks like you're walking through an aquarium. All right? If you have any questions, as always, let me know, and I will try to answer your questions as soon as I can. Thanks, you guys. Bye.